Getting started with City Skylines mods can be overwhelming, especially when you've been watching your favorite creators use tons of different mods to make their games easier or look better. But it doesn't have to be stressful. When it comes down to it, there are just a few mods you should try out to make a world of difference in your game. Real quick before we jump in, I do want to mention that it's usually a good idea to only add one mod at a time unless you are confident you know how to pinpoint what happened if something goes wrong. Enough of that though, let's talk about the mods. Jumping right in, let's talk about one of my favorite mods, Move It. Move It is a fantastic mod to start with as it's very straightforward and easy to use. At its basic core, it allows you to move objects while ignoring the standard grid. It also allows you to move a building without paying for it if you made a mistake when you initially placed it. Move It also allows you to set the object to a certain height or even match it to another object or asset. It even allows you to cheat and empty your landfills if it's something you need to remove quickly. If you're just starting out, Move It is a great mod to use because of how straightforward it is. It allows you to get the hang of modding before you jump into the more advanced mods. Speaking of more advanced mods, let's jump straight in to TMPE. We posted a TikTok recently with some of the best mods for Cities players, and nearly everyone seemed to think that TMPE should have been on that list. I agree, I think TMPE is a fantastic mod that players should try, but its biggest downside is that it can quickly allow beginners to ignore one of the biggest fundamental parts of the game. Traffic management. Traffic management in vanilla isn't the greatest, but if you utilize lane mathematics and good road planning, you can solve a lot of your traffic problems. TMPE does take it a step further though and allows you to truly customize every function of a road, and for that it's a great option for people looking to do some more in-depth traffic management. But I think a lot of people need to know that if you do use this mod, you should go into the settings and make sure that vehicle simulation accuracy as well as advanced parking AI are both turned on. This will help your city look and flow more like a real city. TMPE can be a fairly straightforward mod, but if you really want to get into the weeds of it, you can set up timed traffic lights throughout your city, which can significantly cut down on your queues. Next up, we have UnifiedUI, which is a very basic mod. The vanilla City Skylines UI is already fairly cluttered out of the box, so when you add in some of the DLCs and the mods, your toolbars start to look a little bit cluttered and frankly unusable. UnifiedUI is a simple solution to the random mod buttons placed throughout your screen. For example, Node Controller, Network Multitool, and many other mods like to place themselves in an obscure part of your screen. Using UnifiedUI, you're able to have your mods and their options all in one small place for easy access. Speaking of keeping your game clean, we can't not talk about the next one, loading screen mod. When you start to add a lot of mods and assets to your game, it can quickly slow down your loading time, often taking a small city a few minutes to just load in. Loading screen mod helps optimize your loading and reduces load times. If you're like me, you love custom assets, so being able to use thousands while also maintaining acceptable load times is huge. Keep in mind there have been a few different versions of this, so be sure to click the link in the description below to go to the most current and stable version on the Steam Workshop. But let's move on to the next one, Ploppable RICO Revisited, and Find It Too. When you're really trying to detail your city, having random growable assets pop up in your zoning doesn't always fit what you had imagined. Even if you use a mod like district styles or building themes to manage the buildings in a district, you don't always get the best results just allowing the game to place what it thinks would be best. To help with this, there are two great mods called Ploppable RICO Revisited and Find It Too. Both mods work somewhat similarly. And in fact, I have both added to my game. Because they work so similarly, I've included them as just one in this video, but you can use both of them together. Ploppable RICO allows you to place residential, industrial, commercial, and office buildings in your game. It also allows for RICO buildings larger than the standard 4x4 of cities assets. This also allows you to change the RICO settings of assets, meaning you can make a unique building in your game an actual commercial building to satisfy some of your demands. Find It takes the concept in a similar yet different direction, mainly focusing on categorizing your assets so that you can more easily find them. It also has great advanced search functionality and will show every asset you have in your game, from RICO assets, custom assets, and more. Using the two together makes for the best experience for me personally, so that's why I thought it was important to list them together. Next up on the list is probably one of my all-time favorite mods, and one of the reasons that I love it so much is because of all of the functionality it adds to the game. And of course, We're talking about Network Multitool. Getting started with the mod is also easy to understand, with each different button in the UI doing exactly what it says. I love using this mod for sloping steep areas, creating interchanges on highways, and creating the perfect curve for a road. If you're someone who is really into making their game look pretty with a heavy emphasis on road structure, this is a fantastic mod to have. Better than that though, it also works with every type of network, so it's easy to create a parallel network alongside your road. I have an entire video on how to use the Network Multitool parallel tool, so if you're interested, be sure to check out that video. It goes over how to use the mod to make beautiful parts of your city. But for now, let's talk about the last one, Node Controller, a mod I'm sure you have heard everyone talk about. Node Controller allows you to push your city building skills to a whole new level, giving you a truly insane amount of choice over your intersections, nodes, and design. There are basic functions, but the mod is capable of truly pushing your city's experience to an entirely new level. However you decide to use it though, it's a great mod to have in your tool chest. So let me know in the comments which one of these mods is your favorite, and is there one that we left off the list that you think should be there? And you should absolutely check out the video on the screen right now because YouTube seems to think that you'll like it.